Hey, my name is Thomas and today I'd like to show you the Zonlai 22 f1.8. It's a standard wide-angle fast prime lens for your APS-C cameras again. This is a very small lens, as you can see. It's made by the Chinese manufacturer Zonlai. They're amongst these bunch of new Chinese emerging companies that are recently entering the market. So I'm standing here in front of the Loc Hal. It's a huge location in Tilburg in the Netherlands. It used to be a huge facility for the construction of trains in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and recently was rebuilt into a vast public library. It's a really stunning place. Because of COVID, it's sadly closed right now, so I could only get some photos through the window. But yeah, let's hope for better times and see this facility opened again very soon. The 22mm, it's a very classic focal length. It equals a 35mm on full-frame cameras. It's an f1.8 and it's, as far as these Chinese lenses go, it's a pretty complex one. It's got an 8 lens element design and it's even got floating lens elements. That means that when you focus, the front lens group will move in a different way than the rear lens group. So they sort of move against each other to make sure that the performance is better at all different focal ranges. This thing focuses down to a whopping 15 centimeters, and remember, 15 centimeters, that's always a measurement from the sensor plane. Here's a little marking on your camera. This shows where the actual sensor sits, and from here, 15 centimeters, so something like here. That's pretty close focus. Yeah, it's a classic manual focus lens. That means no electric contacts, no communication with your camera body. If you've got a body with in-body stabilization, you have to dial in the focal length in the menu system of your camera to make that work. The aperture has a clicked ring, which is super nice for photography. I know that you video guys like clickless aperture rings, but yeah, I'm a photographer. This is much better. It's got a click at every full stop. The aperture itself is very nice. 10 straight blades makes for great sun stars already at f2.8 when you're taking night shots. I can't fault this lens for its mechanical quality. The focusing is pretty smooth. You sometimes feel a very slight resistance, which is due to the pretty complex floating lens element mechanics inside. But yeah, it's a very nice feel. And also the aperture ring feels pretty high quality. Nonetheless, this is not the same. It doesn't feel as high quality as the TT Artisan 35 that I recently reviewed. But maybe that lens was absolutely outstanding really in terms of manufacturing quality. Here I'm at the Museum de Pont in Tilburg again. As you can see, there's a very nice exhibit even outside. It's sort of a mirrored piece of metal that makes for a very striking visual effect, really. Also, the museum itself is always worth a visit. They have a lot of different modern art exhibits. The only small niggle I have with this is that between 0.15 and 0.3 there's a huge amount of focus throw, and then between 0.6 and infinity it's just a very small area. So you can focus very quickly on the one hand because you just need to, you know, do a tiny adjustment here, but on the other hand you can easily miss the right focus spot if you're not careful. So let's check for distortion, right? So let's test for a bokeh, and because I can't show photos of my customers when I take portraits or something, I chose for something else. This nice little pig has the same size of a human's head, so you get an idea of the bokeh that you get if you take a portrait shot at f1.8. The bokeh, if you, you can really get close up, so then you get a very nice blurred background. However, keep in mind that f1.8 at 22 millimeters doesn't mean it's a monster for shallow depth of field. This is in no way comparable to a full frame 35 f1.8 or 35 f1.4 or something like that. It's not the strength of APS-C to give you wide angle and at the same time a super shallow depth of field. But for all normal use, the depth of field you can create with this lens should be sufficient. So yeah, what's my verdict on this lens? I do like it a lot. It's very sharp already at open aperture. For portraits or candids, it's a really brilliant lens. However, I think it could be doing a little bit better when taking landscape shots, even at f5.6 or f8. The borders, they do look decent, but not as perfect as I would have hoped. If you've got the budget, consider the Fuji X-E3 f2 with autofocus. Optically, that's a better lens than this, but nonetheless, this one's got a very great mechanical feel. It's great for your manual focus fans, and it's good value for money. It currently sells for about 130 euros, which is not a lot for that quality of lens. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my review. If you did so, then please subscribe to my channel. That's always a great help. Also, if you've got any questions, just write something in the comment section below. I'll happily answer those. And the next video I'm gonna do will be the new TT Artisan 50mm f1.2 for APS-C that was just released in December 2020. So yeah, let's watch this space. Thanks and goodbye.